Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at core Lithium. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I will most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. Now on this chart we are still tracking a possible leading diagonal to form to the upside, a 5-wave move within a diagonal pattern. And we would be tracking here a wave 1 up and a wave 2 down, where ideally we would have liked to consider this the actual wave 3 to the upside, but unfortunately we fell below the area of support allowed for the wave 4 correction even within the interpretation of a diagonal, meaning that we didn't manage to hold here the 61.8% retracement. We had quite a sustained break, even though we had some attempts, we did push below it a couple of times but recovered quickly enough, and it was really only a brief break. But after that we had quite a couple of months old correction below it. We had a sustained clear break below the area of support allowed for the wave 4, which restricts me in the way I can really allow this pattern to develop to the upside, in considering that okay, this could still work out as a wave 3, but now I cannot allow it to be the top here, to have the top here. Instead, I need to be looking for an extension within this wave 3, where I would be looking internally for an ABC pattern that could work out to the upside. In that case, we can allow the correction to go even as low as the 78.6% retracement at around the 4 cents level. Now, if we manage to hold that, well, it may still be salvageable, but we still need to see the 5-wave move to the upside in a wave C, and after that we still need to eventually hold the correction in the wave 4 into the respective area of support for the diagonal pattern. Now, even so, we do still need to be aware that this pattern to the upside which has formed could also be considered an ABC structure as part of a larger correction, in which case we may even need to be prepared for an extension lower, especially considering that this movement to the downside could easily be considered a 5-wave move. So there is a lot of downside pressure on this chart at the moment, and there will continue to be as long as we hold here below the resistance levels between the 21 cents all the way up to the 89 cents level. Now this will be tracked in the orange interpretation. This should have been actually white, but this will be tracked in the orange interpretation, where honestly could work out as an ABC structure and could still hold within the area of support, but this could also very easily extend even to new all-time lows. Now this does seem to be common as well as what we are tracking in the European Lithium chart, for which I just did a video on, where we are looking still for possible extensions higher, but it is in a high risk area where the threat is quite significant that we extend even lower. Now if we have indeed bottomed here within this correction in the wave B of the larger wave 3, if we are here in a B and we have bottomed, we can already look for an ideal target for the wave C actually, where it would be at around the 100% extension of the wave A. Now in this case it would be around the $8 level. If we manage to get there, it is fine. We don't necessarily need to get exactly to that level. I would ideally still like to see a higher high, get to maybe at least the 78.6% retracement, and we can consider here a third wave extension, but we need to see a 5-wave pattern to the upside in pushing to the upside and creating this larger wave 3. Otherwise, I would probably have to consider a different pattern, which would honestly even more likely decrease the probabilities of not even a correction, a trend, an uptrend that we are tracking. It would decrease the probabilities of any clarity, any setup that we can really track within this area. And with that said, we can now move here into the shorter time frame, where we have even started a potential impulse, honestly, where within this area I could consider this just a singular 1-2 setup, and then we could be looking internally here for the third wave to be forming, but it could also be seen within the idea of a series of 1-2 setups in this area. This is also perfectly fine, and what we are tracking right now is the possibility of forming an impulse within this push to the upside, but within the structure that we have here, I have to say it is easily or it could easily shift into a diagonal pattern where so far we may even need to consider here a series of 1-2 setups in this area as well, which, yeah, honestly, due to the low gap between prices, it is honestly even difficult to track in this very small time frame. But what I'm honestly tracking with the most importance basically is this idea of a 1-2. Then this could be the third wave up, and I'm looking here for the correction in a wave 4. In that case, we could still be tracking an impulse, and I could be watching out here for the levels for the wave 4 between the 23 cents all the way down to the 19.5 cents level, where if we break here below the 50% retracement, well, I would have to track a different pattern. I could not really consider that this would still work out as an impulse to the upside, and we may need to be looking for a diagonal, in which case we may even allow the correction to go all the way down to the 61.8% retracement. Yeah, we can even leave just this one, where if we break even below the 15-cent level, well, I would be prepared for a more immediate breakdown, where I would need to probably consider this pattern to the upside actually complete in that case. And even so, even if we hold here the support and extend higher and form a couple of additional highs and complete this movement to the upside, it could indeed be the wave 3, but we also need to be very much prepared for this pattern to turning into something as an ABC structure to the upside of the larger wave B in orange. So overall, on this chart, we would like to see some more evidence that something more bullish is going on. Ideally, we see something like a 1, 2, 3, 4th, and the 5th form, where we may have a larger wave 1 of the wave C to the upside. But yeah, we need to see this evidence. We need to see afterwards the correction in 3 waves, but already getting a 5-wave move to the upside from this low would be an initial good sign, and actually a quite decent opportunity for a trade setup, where now it is in a quite difficult spot, maybe not so much in the short time frame, where we have some quite representative areas of support that can still allow continuation, but from a large time frame perspective, it is quite fragile, where yeah, again, after completion, after we complete this next move to the upside, this wave C that it could be, we may have a larger completion of the wave B, and we may be heading into even deeper areas of support, if not to new all-time lows. And we can even look here for an ideal target for the wave C, actually, and that would be the 100% extension of the wave A, but we have already gotten there. And if we are looking for an ideal target for the wave 3, well, that would be the 32-cent level at the 138.2% extension, very much in line with the 50% retracement. And by the way, I have noticed this earlier, but from the weekly perspective, we have actually struggled getting above the 38.2% retracement resistance here. Yeah, just a slight notice, just the point that, yeah, maybe we should be paying attention to, or extra attention to, this resistance area in orange. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.